My name is Brian and welcome back to Desert Theory. Well, tonight is going to be a fun night. We have lots of little projects on the car, but at the end of the night, this thing's going to be sitting on the ground on its tires. It's going to have body panels on. It's going to have our Desert Theory logo on the side. It's going to have driver names on it. It's going to look like we did something tonight. We need to check our helmets. When we took this out to the desert for the first time, we did not have communication between driver and co-driver, and we also couldn't put our fresh air systems onto our helmets. We have a starter button to replace. We need to do a little clearance on the rear shock. That new bracket that we made just doesn't have quite enough clearance for the rear shock. So, whole bunch of little stuff, but we're gonna get started here. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna start on here tonight is the starter button. Now we pulled it out of the dash. It just looks like this. But when we were going to start the car the other night, we were pushing the button in and we weren't getting anything. So messed around with it for quite a while, then it started working. So instead of leaving that in there, we know there's an issue. We think it's in that button, so we're just gonna change it out. A lot of sitting, just electronics don't like sitting for a long time and not moving. So changing that out. Okay, got the ignition switch replaced. Now we just need to stick it through the dash and tighten it down with the rubber seal little starter button cap.
We like to save Brian frustration. Brian, nice bubble font. I really like that bubble font.
Didn't turn out too hot.
I'm hoping that we can keep the bubble font. I can't find a pair of side cutters to save my life.
All right, ignition's off. I'm gonna hit the starter button. Oh yeah.
So,
all right, new starter button.
That's a good question.
Okay, when I was up front working on the ignition switch, Kelly was back here working on the limit strap bungees. The only purpose of a limit strap bungee is when the suspension collapses or comes all the way up, it keeps this limit strap from going over into the tire, rubbing on anything, just keeps it out of the way and safe. We don't want this. It's just a seatbelt material, so we don't want it getting a bunch of frays in it or anything else. It just make it weaker and it would fail. So that's the only purpose. And the old ones were just completely worn out and just kind of hanging off the car. So we'll just kind of walk over there and see how Kelly is actually making that.
So we're just gonna put this adhesive lined heat shrink over the whole thing, and it'll just keep everything sealed up and nice and tidy. So we'll just do a few wraps on this, try to get it as tight as we can. Maybe one more. That's good. Why don't you sing me a song?
No.
Well, just say test 1, 2, 3, I guess.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Say it again.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, I like this. How's yours sound? Is it good? Test, 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 test.
Oh yeah.
Better down here. Test, test, test. 1, 2,
Turn all the
3.
way, a bunch of way up.
We got a hard right coming on over here. Take a little left here.
Yeah. Throw on the air pumper real quick, would you?
What's this do? Driver isolate. I bet that isolates you from the...
So you can talk to the radio and not interrupt.
You don't have to listen to them squawking.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the pumper, Bri?
Oh, I got him over here.
What's this?
Oh yeah. Okay, our air pumper's working.
Why did we not hook these up last time?
I think we might have been too excited. Okay, so we got everything hooked up. So a few episodes back now, when we got back from the desert the first time, we actually replaced, or actually just moved it by hand, and then the blower motor started working again. So we have our fresh air that comes in, pressurizes the helmet, not with a bunch of air, but just enough positive air that dust doesn't get into it. We had some problems with the communication from driver to driver last time. It appears that two guys may have been fairly excited about their brand new gym code to them and had a little difficult time plugging this in. We didn't do anything to it. We just plugged it in this time and it works. So I don't know what to say about that. Okay, so I said before that after we put the shock on, we realized that our new gusset was just a little bit too close. Kelly made it pretty much like the other one, but it's just a little bit different design, so it doesn't work. It's too close. So he's got a steel burr gun, and he is gonna start getting that clearance going right now.
Yeah, so I put a little black marker here so I can kind of use it as a guide. So I won't take that much metal out, but I'll probably take like half of that black line out, and we'll start there.
Okay, so Kelly got that all clearanced out. Looks good here. Okay, so we're just doing the front shocks now. We didn't finish these the other night. So the one thing we did notice the other night is it didn't get the bottle on. So this is the nitrogen bottle. This is our setting. We know it's 150 pounds here. So the front shocks are 150 pounds. We know that. So we're just running that nitrogen up, putting it into the shock.
It's just bleeding off whatever's in the hose right there. So all the nitrogen stayed in the shock that we put in there when we put in it.
So today in the comment section of last week's video, the question was asked about the shocks and why there's two on each side. Sorry, two on each corner. So the coilover shock, that carries the weight and kind of keeps the ride height of the car. Where the bypass shock, this does the major dampening of the car. Now there is a reservoir on the coil, so there's definitely some valving in there and it does keep it, but the majority is done by this bypass shock. Now each of these tubes, this represents a spot in this shock where it has dampening. So you can set 3 different compression settings. So when this is going up, it can get stiffer or more progressive. And then the same with the rebound. It can drop out faster and then go slow, a slower drop out in different sections of the shock. So pretty fancy looking. I don't know, there's just a lot of stuff here on these shocks. They're just pretty cool looking. They look pretty futuristic or something. So, and then the large reservoir on the side, just to get the extra amount of oil, it keeps them cooler. Back in the day, shock fade in the later part of the race, or if there's big bumps, was real severe. Shocks have allowed the suspension to get much more travel and the shocks still stay cool. So shocks are the single biggest factor on why cars keep getting faster and faster in the desert. Okay, a little bit of a bummer. Right when you want to start putting driver names on, body panels, stickers, you kind of run into the next problem, right? So Kelly was working on this coolant line. We had a small leak here the other day when we were taking everything out. So we were just going to replace that. And when we did, Kelly drained a little bit of coolant and it didn't look right. It wasn't red. It wasn't green. It's kind of a weird brown. It doesn't smell quite right. Maybe there's a hint of antifreeze smell in there and the rest of it's just kind of old stale water. So we're gonna go ahead and change that out right now too. So this should be a hot mess back here. So, but that's what we're starting.
Yeah, I need something to stand on. Hand me that little stool.
So this one's gonna go down below you?
Yeah, we're gonna shoot this thing.
All right. And you want the green stool?
Yeah, grab the green stool. Perfect.
Ready?
Ready, Freddie? Plug her down. Oh boy. We got a 5 alarm.
Missed the funnel.
Here, maybe we do a funnel into a funnel.
What a mess.
Dude, this sucks. Okay. Here, get up here, Reed. Get up here, Reed. Get it! Get it! Oh, too much restriction. Oh.
What a mess.
This ain't right. I guess we just. You got it in the funnel? There you go.
Okay, so a little bit of a bummer. We got antifreeze everywhere. So we're getting tires on it. We are gonna push it outside, just hose off that antifreeze just so it's not all sticky over that transaxle and everything. And man, does this car look cool with wheels and tires back on it. Okay, we got the car back in the shop. We got the panels on it. It looks good. It is so cool seeing it back on the ground. It's fun. And super exciting tonight, as we've said a couple times, we're putting on our decal or our logo for right now. So we get to kind of peeling this off here and stick it on the side of the car. Okay, so just getting this peeled off. It's looking good. Okay, see if we can get this over to the car and not mess it up.
All right, so let's see. So I've got about an inch. What do you have from? Yeah, that looks pretty good.
I think our E and the T are all lined up with that line, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna go from the top down.
Yep.
Oop.
Okay.
Still like it?
Yeah, stick your corner and I'll wait for you. Do you have your little squeegee?
Nope, I left it over there.
Okay.
I'm just gonna kind of hold all of this and you can go
just hold that.
I think that looks really cool. I am super excited about how well that turned out. What do you think, Kel?
I like it. I think it looks great. It turned out really good.
Back out here this morning, got the car pulled out of the shop. Really just wanted everyone to be able to see what it looked like out in the natural light with the new Desert Theory Off-Road Racing Vlog logo. Loved the way it turned out. I also wanted to make a really big announcement, and that's about one of our drivers. So Zach Johnson has said he's gonna drive for us. Zach Johnson might be better known to some as the Millennial Farmer. So Zach's coming out. We're lucky enough to be able to introduce Zach not only to a Class 1 car, but to off-road racing or desert racing in general. So just a neat opportunity. This opportunity wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for all of you watching, liking, and subscribing. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Thank you.
hopefully we'll get, and that's it.